Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This time we find ourselves on a CP map. We all know Hanamura. Well, this is the Team Nebula versus Team Constellation. Both sub-teams of Team Space. Scrim, in-house scrim, in a bit of a way. Both teams looking to practice against each other. We now see we're on Hanamura. This could lead to quite a few differences with how these teams play in this situation. What we saw a lot of last time is we saw a lot of pushes, but people were getting picked off. It's going to really rely on Nebula here to be able to hold this point without getting themselves picked off, because with CP, it's quite common for the hold on the second point to be quite strong on CP maps, but with Hanamura, it is quite a snowbally map. If you are able to really capitalize on that first push, and if Constellation are able to do that, they can manage to take these first 2 points extremely quickly. But then saying, if you don't get that straightaway push, then Team Nebula are going to be able to hold the point very easily, seeing as they have the forward spawns in the situation. Looking at the team comms for Team Nebula, we see they're running the 2-2-2 once again, and looking at Team Constellation, they are running the 2-2-2 as well. Both teams running that May. What we're going to be seeing already, both teams looking to try to bait out this wall, as Fallen Shackle just looking to put that wall up, but Warfare is there to be able... Oh, there comes the hook and the May wall. May wall not really being able to do too much, managing to catch a few people off guard, but looks like Team Constellation will be trying to push into this point, managing to get quite far in, but they will be backing off, seeing as they did have a few members picked off. Aya did get picked off in that situation. Pyrofresh was looking quite low. That could have been quite a good pick. Kobe getting another kill on Zeref there, so they're going to have to do a reset and another push. We saw there was... both May walls weren't really used that well. Both teams were able to capitalize in that sort of situation. Oh, I see what they're trying to actually do now. We see Team Constellation are using this wall to be able to funnel their members through. That is quite a smart idea. We see Warfare trying to just zone some members out of the situation. Team Nebula trying to take up in this high ground. We see Slips getting hooked there, getting taken out of the mix, so that's going to be pretty bad. We see Aya getting caught in a bit of a bad position away from his team. This might lead to a pick, a quite possible pick. And also Pyrofrost getting caught in a bad position, but Team Constellation are trying to push it to this point now. Galfor picking up that kill on Fallen Shackle. We hear a high noon coming out. Galfor picking up quite a few kills, looking really good. We see a Tactical Visor coming out from I'm Qwerty to be able to actually take this point. Going down. Good job by Team Constellation in the situation as they're able to take this first point. We're just going to see some a little bit of delays trying to go on, but they do have 2 minutes left on the clock. They will be gaining an extra 4 minutes, leading to... Is it extra 4 minutes? Ah, yeah, extra 4 minutes, so leading to 6 minutes on the clock for Team Constellation. Now, what they need to do here is they need to steamroll through this position. We see Team Nebula trying to hold up this high ground with the... Well, we see A getting a little bit caught out in the situation away from his team, but could be a bit of a bait because we see Slips does get hooked here as the rest of the members of Team Nebula try to bleed around this corner, but are getting quite zoned off. We see Warfare getting himself picked off in that situation. We see the Earth Shadow coming out from Aya, but not really end up doing too much. I'm Qwerty and a few members of Team Nebula coming around the side up here to be able to take this high ground from Team Constellation. Team Constellation coming up here, bullying Team Nebula out of holding their own ground. Grasshopper looking himself quite low, but being able to get healed from a distance. We're seeing what seems to be a bit of a reverse hold. We see Nebula trying to hold at the top here, but a good sleep hook combo coming out from Team Nebula, just managing to do quite a lot of damage to Galfor, but Galfor managed to stay alive. Grasshopper gets put to sleep, but gets woken up by I'm Qwerty in that situation. We see a few members trying to initiate here. We see that hole, that nano hole coming out. Out comes that self-destruct from Slips, but getting walled off, not really end up doing much. Out comes that that freeze coming out from both teams. Blizzard managed to catch a few people. Grasshopper taking out I'm Qwerty. Looks like Team Nebula will be able to hold this point quite well, as they got more picks than Team Nebula did in that situation. Now, what we see, what we've actually seen a lot from these two teams is they clearly scrim each other quite often because they understand how each other team plays. And they also seem to be a lot alike in the way that they actually play, because I see a lot of reversed ults, like let's say Reinhardt. We saw both mains use their ults in the same time there, both looking to capitalize on the same sort of position. Or one of the mains was trying to pretty much shut down the other mains ult by doing that sort of thing. But we see Slips trying to knock a few people off here, but not really able to pick anybody up. We see Constellation trying to initiate in here, trying to get in, but AA does charge and back out of that situation quite well. Fallen Shackle not really doing that well with that wall there, but Kobe and Pyrophos over here on this little flank, trying to get a lot done from the back of this situation. Do keep in mind that since this is best of 5 maps, both teams are currently at 1-1, so we're going to be seeing another map come out of this one regardless of what team wins. So, looking at the ult economy for both teams, we see that AA will soon have up that CC. Also, Galafor has that as well, so that's going to be quite very, very impactful. See, Warfare switching on to that switching on. I keep calling Warfare switching on to that Genji to be able to pretty much dodge a lot of the CC that's coming in these situations and deal with a lot that Team Nebula has to offer in this situation. But nonetheless, we see Constellation trying to come up here, trying to get... we see that wall actually coming out from Fallen Shackle. Good job. Grasshopper hooking onto Warfare, taking him out. So that's going to be a pick in the hands of Team Constellation. We see we see Galafor getting himself put in a bad position, charging onto the point, getting a nice hook from Grasshopper, going to be going taken down. We see a lot of members of Team Nebula taking advantage of this separation. Fallen Shackle doing his job, separating the enemy team, freezing them and picking them in these situations. Grasshopper doing his job as well, getting some really good hooks this game. As we're seeing that disengage coming from Team Constellation. And looking at the ult management once again, no teams really popped any ults there, so that was great for coming from both teams. It was just more of a wasted time for Team Constellation. Nebula doing a good job at understanding the situation. Nebula's going to have all their ults up in a moment, kind of coming a bit the same with Constellation. They're going to not have that Genji Blade for a little bit. That Nano Blade not going to be coming out for a while, but we might see a Nano Visor coming to that push, and both teams really looking to just... It seems like Nebula are just trying to trying to capitalize on the situation and that positioning of Kobe. Not really able to do much. AA getting caught out in a bit of a bad situation, but out comes that Blizzard, managing to catch, doesn't really actually catch anyone, as QWERTY gets caught out in a bad situation with Fallen Shackle completely capitalizing on his bad positioning. We see a few members of Team Nebula. Out comes the reverse Earth Shatter from Galthorpe, getting himself put to sleep, so it didn't really mean too much, getting himself frozen, anti-healed. We're going to see Xerath having to back off from the situation, as this point once again goes to Team Nebula, only using 2 ults. I'm glad I get to watch these teams because they are doing really well. I love the way that they're playing. But, nonetheless, Warfare will be having that Genji Blade coming up soon, so that could be Nano Blade, or that could be the Nano Visor. Both can work really well in the situation. Look, he's preparing to come in for this situation. Kobe getting on a bad position. Good reflect coming up for Warfare. Kobe does end up going down. We see that Tactical Visor coming out. Managed to pick up that kill of Pyrophos, so we're not going to see anything like that coming out. No Nano Boost actually popped at this current moment. We see quite a lot of members of Team Nebula getting themselves picked out. Out comes that Nano Boost on Grasshopper, looking to bring up that Nano Hog, getting quite a bit of damage. Out comes that ult from that blade coming from Genji, looking to do quite a bit of damage, but not really finding any good targets to be able to dash back and in through from Fallen Shackle, doing a good job at CCing these enemy teammates, and very good job from Team Nebula being able to hold this point. They did really well in that situation, though they did have quite a few members picked up in that early position. We did see what happened there. We saw that they did get picked up, but because they had that forward spawn and Constellation did not push off their initial picks, that they weren't able to capitalize on, and they were able to come back in time, trickle on the point, being able to contest that sort of situation. Good job by both teams, but sadly Constellation weren't able to take that point. But we're now going to see Nebula on attack to win this game. All they have to do is be able to take that second point from Nebula's hands and from Constellation's hands, and Constellation to win this game. What they're going to have to do is they're going to have to make sure Team Nebula cannot take this point. That is their number one objective right now. It is going to be the one thing going through their minds. This team is got to not win this point, or else we're going to be coming into a draw. So, now, looking at this team composition from Team Nebula, what we're going to be seeing is, for attack, Kobe on that Tracer. That Tracer is going to be quite helpful for getting into this choke straight off the bat, right around the May wall, to be able to do quite a lot in that sort of situation, and try to bait that May wall as well, because that's going to be a big thing. But they do have their own May on Fallen Shackle on that May, looking to be able to cancel out the wall, just like Warfare did. I'm going to take that one for myself if I ever rejoin a team, so I can use that one, because that was very powerful. But looking back on Team Constellation's lineup right now, they're running that Roadhog to be able to get those picks, hook them through, wall it up from Warfare to be able to delay them, Slips putting these Symmetric turrets all over the area to build up that ult as fast as possible, because as soon as they have because with that Symmetric ult, if a few members of your team down, put down the teleporter. If you find that you're getting picked off a lot, put down the teleporter. If you're doing quite well, you can enhance your defenses more by bringing out that oh, we immediately saw the Symmetric turrets getting taken down without really doing much. So it's getting himself hooked, picked. Good job by Team Nebula, understanding what's meant to happen in that situation. They see that wall coming in, looking to run inside that side room. Good job by Team Nebula with that nice push, being able to come through that wall. Good pick on Xerath there as well. We see good picks, really great picks coming out for Team Constellation. Team Nebula here, as they do sort of storm through this point. QWERTY. Looks like he's going to be going down here. Yes, he is. We're going to see Team Nebula really capitalizing on this situation, being able to take this point straight off the bat. Right now, what's going through Team Constellation's minds is we have to either delay this point, or, yeah, looks like what they're trying to do. We have to delay this point, or we're going to have to go for the draw on this second point. But this point will be going to Team Nebula nonetheless. So they have at least won themselves a tie. And with that well, they captured much faster than Team Nebula did, Team Constellation did, sorry. These team colors are switching me around now. With 7 minutes left for the clock, they're looking to come in for that snowball. Didn't really get punished for that, for how they came in there, because of the May. Didn't really catch them in that situation. We see that anti-heal coming out on members of Team Constellation, so Team Nebula doing a good job here. Now comes the Boostio trying to Boostio, always the best person to target there. We see the May coming out from the background. Warfare trying to actually CC some of the enemy team, but they're smart enough to move off the point in time. QWERTY trying to delay this point. We didn't see a wipe there, so it's going to be quite a quite a close game. Between this part, we're going to be seeing a few members of Team Nebula sadly do end up going down. So, shield generator now coming in for Team Constellation, so they're going to have that extra strong defense in this situation. The teleporter is not the best idea, as Team Nebula do try to get out of this the position they are currently caught in. So, now looking at the team ult, what Team Constellation are going to need here is they're going to need to wipe all of the enemy team. All of Team Nebula need to wipe Team Constellation, which can be done with that May ult. And there comes the hook on Xerath, managing to get himself out of that situation. Warfare picking up that kill on Kobe, catching him out in a bad position. We see AA picking up that kill, good charge coming in there, managing to take out few members. We see Grasshopper trying to pick up a kill of his own, but not really managing to get it, as Team Nebula do disengage from that little bit of the situation they caught themselves in. We see that May ult ready for Fallen Shackle. If they do get that off right, this can mean an entire wipe for the enemy team if they do use all of this situational items right. Now, looking back at Team Constellation, they do have a lot of ults there, and they do have their defensive ult in the form of Alpha Kiwi. So, and also Warfare almost has this up as well, so they can use that quite defensively. But never mind that, as we see Team Nebula does end up coming in here, trying to look to take this point. We don't see any ults coming off. Out comes the freeze, out comes the blizzard from both teams, and the sound barrier to keep a few members alive during these blizzards. And out comes that Earth Shatter, but it doesn't really seem to manage to do much. Actually, Fallen Shackle does pick up that kill. We see quite a lot of members of Team Nebula caught out in bad situations. Grasshopper looking himself quite low, but getting himself healed up. Fallen Shackle baiting that charge, coming out at a great time. Galefor completely missing that. Out comes the High Noon from QWERTY, picking up that double kill, being able to hold this point for just that bit longer. Good job by Team Constellation. Team Nebula now only left with Kobe and Bacon's ults, so those aren't really comboable, but Bacon's ult can work with majority of the members of Team Nebula. Now they've switched, now Team Nebula have switched onto the Zarya. What they're looking to do is they're looking to combo that Graviton Surge for the wipe that I've been talking about, which is exactly what they need. Alpha Kiwi did end up holding on to that sound barrier, so that's going to be quite helpful in this next fight. If things do start to go a little bit south in the situation, we see Grasshopper looking for this hook straight off the bat, trying to get that kill. Out comes the Tracer Bomb, but it doesn't really manage to pick up anything. Grasshopper getting that kill on Galefor. Good job. In comes Team Nebula to be able to try to take this point as Team Constellation do jump down to delay this point. Team Nebula looking quite stronger in this situation. Out comes the sound barrier by Team Constellation. Looking to delay this point. Nano Boost coming on Aya here, trying to get swing around, get his damage out. Not really able to find many targets as a lot of members of Team Nebula do manage to pick up a few kills on some people. Looking quite good. This might be the point then. Looks like Team Nebula will be taking this point. No, it looks like the delay is coming in from QWERTY, but now the game will be going to Team Nebula. Good job by them. Constellation, this is going to be 2-1. Team Nebula with 2 points, Constellation with 1. We're going to be coming back for this last round here. But what we did see a lot with that battle is what both teams needed to win this point in the end was that wipe and the constant drip feeding of the opposite team to win that fight, which is exactly what Nebula were able to get done. And we'll be back with the last map soon enough. We'll see you all then. We're going to quickly watch this play of the game, because I'm curious to how Lucio got play the game. Well, that was sure something. Anyway, that wasn't the boostio, yeah, quite sad. But we'll be seeing you all for the next match. We'll be back shortly.